Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, we're just going to be discussing Tesla stock a bit more and talking about the recent moves that Tesla alone just experienced over this past week. We've had like a roller coaster ride of emotions, and so far, even with today dropping down past this peak to a recent level similar to where it was at just a few days ago, I would still say personally that this stock is dominating. And even if we did have this little bit of a pullback like we had on the 13th, I mean, I remember at one point I was like plus $8,000 for the day in the portfolio, and then it went down to like minus $2,000. So it started out with a day being fantastic for Tesla on July 13th, and then towards the end of the day, all of those gains were lost and it actually went into the red. So we did have a little bit of a pullback, and honestly, it was about time because if you look at the past month, we're still up 62.70%, and honestly, that was pretty much a vertical movement at that point. So it seems like there always has to be a little bit of pullback. You can't just have a straight up vertical line on the chart. But by the way, before I forget, if you do enjoy these Tesla videos and just where I talk about Tesla news and my thoughts about it currently and also my predictions for the future, then please make sure to smash that like button. It really does help me out and I greatly appreciate it. Plus it helps get these videos recommended with the YouTube algorithm. So like I said earlier, we had a fantastic month so far. Pretty much halfway through the month, about, half of the month was essentially just a standstill. There wasn't much significant movement going on in the first part of the last 30 days. So from about June 15th to like June 29th, we saw no significant movement. It was just a plateau. But as we know with the earnings coming up and the idea of Tesla maybe qualifying for S&P 500 inclusion, then that's when people started to realize potential in this stock growing significantly in the next upcoming months or so. And especially with Tesla Battery Day being on September 22nd now. And also, by the way, that was recently delayed from the 15th of September to the 22nd of September. But that's going to be another huge day as well. It's going to be a combination of the annual shareholders meeting and also Battery Day. So a lot of huge news is supposed to come out on that day as well, in addition to the things that are supposed to happen earlier in time, such as like the earnings per share report for July 22nd, I think. Yeah, that's when it's supposed to be announced. So on July 22nd, in after hours, we will know if Tesla was profitable in quarter 2 of 2020. And if you look at the past 3 quarters, they have been profitable so far, meaning if quarter 2 is profitable as well, that'll be 4 quarters in a row, meaning that Tesla qualifies for the eligibility criteria for S&P 500 inclusion. And once Tesla gets included in the S&P 500, if it does in that case, then many firms will likely start to buy shares of Tesla, and it will almost be like a mandatory purchase for many of the firms out there. And in addition to that, it's just another great piece of news to where it is factored into those top 500 companies that represent the index of the stock market that a lot of people keep up with, such as like the Dow, the S&P 500, NASDAQ. All of these indexes are notable, and people look at those for the general trends of the stock market. So if Tesla were to be put in the S&P 500, for one thing, that would mean that they have been profitable 4 quarters in a row, which is a great piece of news in itself. But just the fact that it could qualify for the S&P 500 could be a big mover for this stock, in addition to when, if it actually does go into the S&P 500. So for one thing, you have good news of it even having the option to qualify, and for another thing, you have the positive news of it actually getting put into it and then accepted into the S&P 500. So the takeaway in this video that I really just want to emphasize is that Tesla stock is dominating. If you really look at just the past month especially, where it's up like 62% almost, and you compare that to the past 3 months where we've seen gradual growth up until about June 29th, where we saw about a 33% growth rate just in the past 3 months, and then after that 33% we gained like another 70% on top of that. So in total, just in the past 3 months, this stock price has doubled for Tesla, and it's a little over 105%. So this is definitely a big deal, and I think people are finally starting to wake up and realize what is happening. I know that many people were starting to do that when it was beginning to hit that 900 marker, but as we know, there was that pullback in February, and it went as low as $364 because I actually bought one myself at $364. So there was a huge crash on Tesla stock until about the 18th, and that's when it finally started to recover. People started to wake up and realize that $300 was an excellent price for Tesla stock, and I wish I had that hindsight months ago. I knew that it would probably be a good price to buy in, but I was too focused about worrying on buying Microsoft stock and stuff like that, which I'm glad I bought Microsoft stock, but ideally a better move would have been to buy Tesla at that $300 marker. It's honestly crazy to believe that not even a year ago this stock was at like $200. So that just shows you right there that there are stocks out here in the stock market that people could correctly stock pick and make a lot of money, because just within 1 year a stock price has gone from $200 to $1,500. So it's definitely possible for someone to make some really good stock picks out there. I mean, we've seen this with Shopify as well this year. If you look at Shopify, it is performing extremely well just over the past year. It's up 204%. A lot of this is thanks to the Rona, where Shopify excels compared to other companies that are negatively affected by the Rona situation. And then we also have, I think, Nvidia. I don't know how much it's up this year, but it has done well for the past 5 years, I believe. Yeah, past 5 years, it's up like 1,900%. And Nvidia for the past year is up 141%. So absolutely crazy growth for that as well. So that just emphasizes that you can find some stocks in this stock market that will make you a lot of money. It's just all up to whether you make the right decision on picking the correct one. And with this, I even think that buying Tesla at $1,500 is still a great price if you're looking at Tesla in the long-term lens and you're looking at it over the next 40 years, because in the next 10 years, I think we'll see a lot of great things come out of this company. But just think about that in comparison to over time until retirement. So if they're going to do a lot of fantastic things in just over the next 10 years, I can only imagine what they'll be doing the 30 years after that. So I think that Tesla is one of these companies that will always be innovating. For one thing, they attract some of the smartest students and some of the best engineers in the world. So when you have that reputation of attracting some of the smartest individuals like Harvard University or Brown or Yale or places like that, then you obviously get higher quality workers and higher quality individuals that can contribute to the company and add a lot of value to it. So with Tesla having that reputation as well, it also helps them in the future because it sets a standard as a workplace that engineers would like to go to, because they know innovation happens there. And I think that Tesla is still going to continue to be one of the biggest innovators in the world. And a lot of that is really thanks to Elon Musk, because of his aggressive timelines and because of the standards that he sets for his workers. So I really do think that there's still a lot of potential for Tesla stock, even at $1,500 currently. But that is only in the case of you looking at Tesla stock for the long term, for the next 20 to 40 years at least. But keep in mind, anything that I say or have said in this video is not to be considered financial advice. That is simply just my personal opinion on this stock and its value currently. Yes, I think Tesla is at a premium, and we saw that $300, $200 pullback back to this $1,500 marker. So yes, I do think it's at a premium right now. But if you would just like to go ahead and secure the price that it's at right now, rather than having to deal with the idea of not purchasing now and then it going up significantly in the future, some people would call that fear of missing out if you're kind of worried about that risk. But honestly, it's something to take into consideration in my opinion, because you could have said the same thing about $900, and that was my logic with Tesla at $900. I spent every single bit of money that I had at that point in time on Tesla when it was $800, $850, $900, $950. And with my logic, I was like, okay, I know the general trend of Tesla is up, and I can never really predict that there's actually going to be a pullback soon. So I'm just going to go ahead and lock in my price that I'm pretty confident in, because I know it will grow in the long term. So that was what my logic was with this stock so far. And as you can see, yes, my average cost is pretty high, but when you look at what it's at right now, it doesn't seem too high. So I'm pretty satisfied with Tesla stock so far. It's one of the most interesting stocks to follow. For one thing, yes, it can make you a lot of money if it performs well, but it's also just really interesting to keep up with, because there's so much news that comes out with Tesla stock, as we know, because it's more than just an automaker. It's way more than just an EV company. They have many other sectors as well, such as the solar panels, other energy production, such as like battery solutions, and it's untelling what they'll do in the future as well. So anyways, with this video, I just kind of wanted to just, I don't know, rant a little bit about Tesla stock. Not really rant, but just to have like an informal discussion where I can just come up with a few points that I'm thinking about currently. So I still think that this stock is dominating. Yes, there was a pullback yesterday, but even with this pullback, the stock is up like 7.58% for the week, which is still impressive. And for the past month alone, it's up 62% almost. And at that peak, it would have almost been up 100%, which is really impressive. And I think that $2,000 isn't too far off. The only thing that I could see impacting the growth of this stock in the future would just be a general stock market crash, because I think the future of this stock is very bullish. But anyways, I just want to share my thoughts and opinions about Tesla stock. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to smash that like button, and also feel free to sign up with my referral links to Robinhood and Webull in the description below. If you sign up with those links, then you'll get a free stock, which is always nice passive income. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Stay safe out there.